They've got it, but it's before HD. You think about one of the most loaded rosters ever. 2001, 17 players from that squad went on to become first-round draft picks. Think about what I just said. 17 first-round draft picks. 10 of their 12 wins came by at least 20, including a 23-point win over Nebraska. That was the last one. They're trying to add another at home. Joey Galloway, kind enough to stop by. Joey, it's Scott Van Pelt. Man, this is good to talk to you. All I do is watch you on TV and watch you and Herbie do your pod. And now you and I get to talk about what was a scintillating fourth quarter that went back and forth. What'd you make of the Canes' ability to answer and then ultimately get the final stop?
That's why you go get Carson Beck. Throughout the season, in situations where they needed to make a play at times, it just wasn't there for this team. They had those 2 losses in the middle of the season where they threw a bunch of interceptions, lost those games, and since then they've been a different football team. And in this one, this was different. In the first 2 games they won in the playoff, it was protect the ball, don't make a mistake out of Carson Beck, don't turn it over, and let's try to run the football. This one, in the end, in that fourth quarter, they needed Carson Beck to make play after play, and he did that going over the middle of the field, which is something he wasn't willing to do in the first 2 games. But this was the Carson Beck that Miami fans expected to see when they went and got this guy that's played a lot of football.
That's such a great point, something I'm going to visit with Dusty Dvorak a little bit later, right? You think about, Trinidad Chambliss is an excellent player as well, and from Ferris State, and he's great. You heard, if you were listening, you heard what Coach Cristobal said, that he was better than they even thought he'd be. But the benefit of having played so many games and so many high leverage games, that shows itself in that fourth quarter, doesn't it, Joey?
It felt like there was never a doubt. It felt like if there was time on the clock and Miami got the ball back, that Carson Beck was going to make those plays. And in tough spots and third downs where they needed to make a play. And if you listened to the game and you heard Fowler kept asking Herbie, hey, are they going to try to go for this or protect the ball because they're in field goal range? And Miami's attitude was, we got Carson Beck. He's played a lot of football. Let's go get it. And he made those plays. He was amazing.
Whoever they play in the final, either Indiana or Oregon, I feel like there's a recipe here, Joey, and it's been around as long as I've watched football. If you run the ball and if you play defense, you can win games. You can shrink games and you can win games. I feel like as much as Beck was required tonight, I think the recipe for whoever they face is run it and play defense. I see you nod your head. You share that sentiment?
Yeah, that's been their recipe. Miami had the ball for 20 more minutes than Ole Miss had the ball in this game. In the first half, they dominated, but they were only up 4 going in, and it didn't feel like Ole Miss was in the game. And give Ole Miss credit. They came back out. They made the plays they needed to make. But in the end, running the football for Miami has been the key. We've had a ton of conversations about Carson Beck, about Malachi Toney, but Mark Fletcher Jr. has been the key to what they're doing. He went over 130 in this game. And that's the key to having the ball 20 more minutes. Hey, it's tough to lose when you're that talented and you have the ball for 20 more minutes. You have a physical offensive line, which we watched them push Ole Miss around the field a lot of times. And at some times in those games, you're thinking, why is Miami even throwing the ball? They look more physical. Their offensive line is dominating, and Mark Fletcher Jr. is getting off. And running the ball, keeping the ball away from the other team. If we could just get one more of these tomorrow night, please, out of Indiana and Oregon, another game like this is what the playoff is all about. The national championship game is going to be terrific.
The hell with that. Let's be greedy. Give me one tomorrow night and then give me one on Monday, 10 days from there.
Absolutely.
All right, good. We're on the same page. We'll see you there. We'll be down there to do our show live tomorrow night from Atlanta. Joey, I hope we cross paths there. Miami somewhere. I appreciate you taking time, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Always. Joey Galloway. Going to visit with Dusty Dvorak in just a moment. To the victor go the spoils. And the spoils this time of year means 60 more minutes in the clock, and you get to flip that down marker. There's the touchdown for Beck. 4th lead change of the frantic fourth quarter. And then they had to hang on and withstand the Chambliss Hail Mary. Ole Miss fought their butts off, honored themselves in defeat. Here they are on what was close but not quite.
We knew it was going to be hard. I mean, guys, it's the semifinals. It's supposed to be hard. and when these games, you got to be at your best. You got to play at your best. You got to coach at your best. And if you don't deserve to win. I mean, it's the semifinals go to the national championship game. So I thought we had our opportunity by not playing our best game, and that's what we said at halftime. We haven't played our best up to this point. We've been here before. All right, let's go out here and let's spot the ball, and let's find a way to make it one possession in the fourth quarter and find a way to win the game. And our kids came back and did that and went up. And so hats off to them. We just got to find a way to close it. Got to do a better job coaching.
For me, just thinking about, my brothers, people that have sacrificed so much to be in this position. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, whether it's film, weight room stuff, and, other things as well. And just this team has just sacrificed a lot, to get to this point. And this season's been bumpy, and there's been a lot of things going on. And, they just kept our focus. It's been just truly special.
Dusty Dvorak, as promised, with me in studio. At some point, we'll learn to stop taking notes for three quarters, because we've got three quarters, and it's the time of possession is 3-1, and Ole Miss doesn't have a third down conversion. And how is this game even close? They're dropping all these picks. And then 25 points and 4 lead changes later, we throw that out the window. When people talked about Miami and they doubted them in the playoff, why was the reason they doubted them?
Carson Beck. Could you trust Carson Beck?
I was one of them.
No,
I was one of them.
And no bigger opportunity tonight than to find out, can we trust Carson Beck? And boy,
what did he show
he
us?
Gained everyone's trust and some. So he was fabulous on third down.
Right.
7-9 tonight on third down. No bigger third down. 3rd and 10 final drive. I'm going to draw you the route combination. It's going to be a return route from Malachi Tony. He's going to be a decoy, and they're going to hit Marion on this deep dig route. Okay, but I want you to keep an eye on right here inside on Malachi Tony, because on this return, what's going to happen here, as he comes inside, he's going to draw T.J. Daugherty, this linebacker. He's going to come in. And then as he works back out, he's going to take this man-to-man coverage back out with him. And it's going to naturally open up this beautiful throwing lane for Carson Beck. By the way, you got to have protection. They protected him all night. All this works together. The route combination, opening up that window, the time, and you can't throw it any better than that. Right there. Huge third down.
7 for 114, by the way, for Marion.
And, I mean, Marion was great, but 7 for 9.
Yeah.
7 first downs on third down tonight for Carson Beck. Money down. Got to have it throws. Got to have it in that spot. How about this? I'm going to show you this because you're asking, how does this thing get so wide open? How could you have walked in for a touchdown?
Foot speed's underappreciated.
It is. It's right. Now watch. Okay, here's going to be the game up front. This is going to be the looper. This tackle is going to come in. This end's going to come in. They're actually going to run on top of each other, and it's going to cancel out one of the defensive linemen, and then we're going to get one more inside. Okay, so that's the pass rush. Now, that's what's happening there. Here outside, we got man-to-man here. We got man-to-man here. We got man-to-man here. Everybody's routes are going to go inside, okay? So we're going to run coverage off. Watch this unfold now, okay? Now we got pressure coming from right over here. You can see this. Watch Carson Beck step up, and then when he steps up, watch him see this come wide open. As I said, one of those guys falls down. It's wide open. There's no defender there. They're running in man-to-man coverage. They lose their pass rush lanes, and Carson Beck, with enough room for you to walk through, for me to walk through, and he's the hero. What a moment for him. And I just think about all the naysayers, the people that question his leadership, question could he get it done in the clutch.
Yeah.
For him to be on this stage in this moment, to produce all night. Boy, you got to have it. 3 minutes to go. Ball's in your hand. Go win it for me, kid. For him to come up with those clutch plays down the stretch was massive.
He had a couple of big first down runs as well on third down. So, I mean, third down, he couldn't have been better. But, I mean, you framed it well. You showed the one throw and then obviously the touchdown run. But, I mean, Miami had to answer. And as we're watching this game, you kept talking to me about how many starts this guy's played. And I said it to either Joey or Chris. I mean, high leverage, whether it's at Georgia. I mean, he's been in the deep end of the pool. I have to think that helped him and showed itself in this game.
41 starts. Tonight was his 36th victory, 16 against ranked opponents. You bet your bottom that matters. He's been in these spots. He's been in these moments. He's ready for it. And on the sideline, I mean, you can't prepare for this in practice. You know, when you've been through this, when you've been in SEC championship games, when you've been in big moments, balls in your hand, for him to have that poise and be able to come up with those plays, Absolutely huge.
You had them a game ago, and so you've seen them with your own eyeballs, and they're deep because the U's always deep. But, I mean, you're throwing true freshmen out there to try to cover. Stribling and actually some good plays were made there. But I wonder, are 10 days enough for them to get healthy enough for whoever they're going to face? Because as talented as they are on that defensive side, they are a bit banged up at the moment.
Yeah, they're banged up. You know, Xavier Lucas, he also got that targeting. He may have to miss that first half of the next game. But look, I'm not questioning this team. They play with violence. They play with toughness. That offensive line was mashing people tonight, and they got a veteran quarterback. So, yeah, they got to get healthy on the defensive side, no question. But absolutely, I can't wait to see what the matchup is. Miami's going to be ready to play. And, by the way, it's at home. They're not going to have far to travel.
How wild is that? They will not have played at home in 2 months. I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, all of that, and then you come back home with a chance to play for the chip, and you play